I can depend on, to the faith that's in my bones. Take me back to a preacher and a verse where they've seen me at my worst, to the love I had at first. Oh, I wanna go to church. Yeah, I wanna go to church.
Hey, how's it going? Nick Raber here.
Carl Horner.
And we're here for week 2 of our Life of the Church series, where we're taking a look at Acts 2, 42 through 47, and we're kind of split it up into 3 specific ideas. What did we talk about last week?
So we were talking about the apostles' teachings, basically, which would mean the teachings of Jesus, and had a guest speaker here.
Yep.
Tyler Hartford, if you're able to see that. And then this week, Nick's preaching, and we're looking at what's our portion.
We are looking at the idea of fellowship and the breaking of bread, and those can be 2 separate things, but also play in together. So we're going to look at them both within the same sermon, and so that is what we're going to look at this week. The idea of fellowship and the breaking of bread, and then the 3rd week, Carl will take over and do the last thing, which is going to be prayer, and so. For this particular idea here, we're looking at, again, Acts 2, 42 through 47, but then the kind of a supporting passage here is 1 John 1, 1 through 4. So those are going to be the 2 main passages that we're going to be talking about. So, Carl, when you think of fellowship in the times of when this was written, in New Testament times,
Sure.
What do you think of?
I think about I think people call it today hanging out. I mean, it's just like spending a lot of time together, and so this is we call it the early church. These are these believers. Some of them probably would have been new believers, as far as even new believers in Jesus for sure. Some of them would have been the followers of Jesus who believed him in the whole time. But you've got all of them together. So I think of fellowship, and I just think of spending a lot of time together. The passage talks about what are they doing with their possessions and stuff?
Right, they're selling their possessions and distributing it to those in need. So people are willing to give up their own stuff, sell it, take that money, and give it to whoever needed it. So there's definitely some sacrificial actions, sacrificial lifestyle for the betterment of those that they're doing life with. So they're doing that. They're worshiping together. They're breaking bread in their homes together. So, Carl, when we think of communion today, what do we think of?
Yeah, that's usually taking the sacraments, and we might have 2 or 3 special times during the year where we're gathering together, and again, it's usually a somber thing. We don't necessarily think about it as a big celebration, although we usually have a fellowship meal if we can. But again, it's a special time. So how's that different from what we're seeing here in this passage?
Right. So in verse 46, it says, and they're breaking bread in their home. So they were they might have been doing communion with the sacraments when they were worshiping in the temple. But the main idea behind here, breaking bread together, is they were sharing meals together, right? You know, Peter was going over to John's house, and their families were sitting down, and they were, reclining together, and they were sharing this meal together. And one thing I found, and you probably know this, when you're sitting down and just talking with people while you're eating, it's just really easy to share the good things that are coming in life, the struggles that we're facing in life. There's just something about when you're stuffing your face, it's just easy to talk.
Well, and I tell you, we in a home renovation that we did in 2018, we took a wall out and made our dining room bigger and raised it up to the same level as the rest. And so now all of a sudden, our table that has 8, it's got 2 flip leaves, and then it's got 8 boards in it. We can leave it, I think it's set up with 6 of the boards in there now, and you can put the entire family, 15 people on it, And like on Sunday, we ended up sitting there for a couple hours after the meal just talking. And it felt very natural to do that.
Yeah. So the idea of breaking bread together isn't necessarily about the quality of the food.
Yeah, no,
it's
right.
more about the quality of the time that's spent between the two people or the groups of people that are together
Yeah.
eating. And it's the whole idea behind it is you're talking about things that are going on in life, the things that you're struggling with, the celebrations that are going on. You're just laughing with each other, and I think that's what's happening here, right?
I think, yeah.
They're seeing the joy in other people's life. They're seeing ways that they can help in other people's lives through sharing this time together.
And that connectedness, because they're spending so much time together, enables them to recognize, wow, that person's in need over there. I got this land I'm not using. I might as well sell it. And that's what's going on here in Acts. You know, that the people are spending so much time together and they care about each other. They recognize, I'm kind of selfish if I'm keeping this for myself. This person needs stuff over here. And so they're doing that. You had a good phrase where you talked about communion.
Oh, right. So they weren't necessarily, when they were doing communion, they were more doing community, right? So communion wasn't as much about the sacraments or the elements. It was more about community together, living together, in communion with each other.
What a neat thing! I mean, yeah. So the other passage, the supporting passage, what do you see in here?
Yeah. So
1 John 1.
Right. So I think the main thing that I see in here, further down in verse 2 and then verse 3, but at the last half of verse 3, it says, so that you may have fellowship with us and have fellowship with the Father. Yeah. So the so that. What's before the so that is all of these things that has happened with Jesus and the early church, right? And so like the apostles have done these things, they've proclaimed Jesus so that whoever hears it can have fellowship with other believers and can have fellowship with God, with the Father and with the Son and you know, and so this passage has this idea of it's because of Jesus, it's because of what God did that we can have fellowship with each other, we can have community with each other, and then we can have fellowship with God, right? It's this idea, Carl was talking about reconciliation, right? What Jesus did reconciles our relationship back to God. It reconciles our relationship between human to human. And so what Jesus did provides those avenues for fellowship with each other.
I think that's really neat. It'd be fun to see where you go with this. But as I'm looking at this and I'm just seeing the fellowship, that seems like such a key thing in the early church, and definitely should be that key thing for us today. The fellowship amongst ourselves, the fellowship with God, but then also the invitation to invite others into that fellowship, because it needs to be something that anybody looking in would say, I want some of that. Yeah. I mean, this looks fun. This looks like it'd really be a good thing to do.
Yeah. So. Yeah. All right. Well, hey, we hope to see you on Sunday. If you're not able to join us, the sermon will definitely be up on YouTube later on in the day that you can tune in and watch there.
Okay.
Right. See you later.
Yeah, I wanna go to church.